Move to Chair Lear.
Okay. Law and licensing, we have just a few action items. Item 14.4, R277621, District of Residence, which is just a continuation. The committee moves that the board continue R277-621, District of Residence, on second and final reading.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor as stated. Seeing no lights, we have a motion on the floor that the board continue R277621 on second and final reading. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes unanimously.
Item 14.5? No, 4.
Yes. 14.5,
Um,
Instructional Materials Commission.
But I have right, maybe I have the wrong, anyway, that's fine. The committee moves that the board approves R277-469, Instructional Materials Commission Operating Procedures, Draft 2 on second and final reading.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor as stated. Seeing no lights, there's a motion that the board approves R277-469 Draft 2 on second and final reading. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes unanimously.
Item 14.6 would be R277-317. The committee moves that the board approve R277-317, Incentives for National Board Certification, Draft 2 on second and final reading.
My motion says Draft 1. Can we get some clarification?
And maybe mine's older.
Maybe Deputy Superintendent Stallings
And did you remember if it was Draft 1 or 2?
on 317?
Yes,
Okay.
Draft 2.
Okay, on mine it says 1, so. Okay, there's a motion on the floor that the board approves R277-317 Draft 2 on second and final reading. Seeing no discussion, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes unanimously.
Item 14.
Sorry, I'm still trying to reconcile that. Draft 1 is what's in the back. Is there a draft 2?
Draft 1 is what I have on my paper also, but I'm being told it is Draft 2. Do we have Draft 2 in backup?
Or is there no difference between?
We have Director Rasmussen coming in to clarify.
If I may, Ben Rasmussen, Director of Law and Professional Practices. There was a motion in committee to change some terminology throughout the rule. Yes. So that should be incorporated there. I thought we had gotten that in there.
The change is that the applicants have to have a professional license.
But-
Correct? Was that the only one?
No, there was you made a motion about some terminology that was in the rule, replacing the term board certified teacher with the term eligible educator, which we had put in the definitions. So that was
Okay.
that would be what would be the difference in in draft 2.
They're saying
So-
backup, Draft 2 never got into backup. Is that correct?
So what we would suggest is if we can approve draft 1 with the amendment, draft 2 would be forwarded on, but we can have the board reapprove the amendment if that's,
Okay. Can
that's
you remind
possible.
us of the language then?
Yes.
you want to put that on the screen, Angie? So it's replacing the term boards. So the amendment would be to replace the term board certified teacher with the term eligible educator throughout the rule.
The committee approved Draft 2.
Well,
The committee did, but it's not in backup. So we have Draft 1 in front of us, and that's what's on the agenda. So we need someone to make it. I remembered this as the applicant had to have a professional license. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong.
don't remember.
Member Hart?
I move that we change all references
So
of
board certified teacher
board certified teacher
with
to-
eligible educator.
and replace it with eligible educator on draft 1.
Does that work? There's a motion on the floor that the board approves R277-317.
No, 306.
Draft,
We have to pass this amendment first, don't we?
yes.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor that in R277-317, draft 1,
306. No,
no,
I'm sorry, go
317,
ahead.
draft 1,
Yes.
that we replace all references to National Board Certified Teacher with eligible educator.
Yes.
I have to second that motion, that amendment.
Okay? And Member Hart, did you want to speak to it?
No.
Okay. Member Hanson?
Excuse me, not having seen draft 2, is that change in the
So we're just
definitions? Is
affirming,
that also
we're affirming the
included? Is that
committee
need to be
action.
added?
He's asking a question if there's also a change in the definitions.
Already added the definition of eligible educator, and that's
That was
partly why
already
it
there.
was included throughout the rule. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So seeing no other discussion, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. That amendment passes unanimously. So now we have a motion,
really fast. So let's just make sure we have the right draft back in.
would be draft
So
1.
the board would now
as
approve
amended.
draft 1 as
Yes.
amended.
As amended.
So there's a motion on the floor that the board approves R277-317.
I move that we approve draft
R277-317.
R277-317 as amended,
Draft 1
draft 1
As
as
amended.
amended
on second and final reading.
on second and final reading.
Thank you. And we have a second here. There's a motion on the floor that the board approves R277-317, draft 1, as amended on second and final reading. Those in favor say aye. Oh,
Aye.
Chair Huntsman, did you want to speak?
No, aye.
Okay,
Sorry.
those
Oh,
opposed?
sorry.
Okay, that motion passes with Member Klein opposed.
Item 14.7 would be R277-306. The committee moves that the board approves R277-306, educator preparation programs for school psychologists, audiologists, speech language pathologists, speech language technicians, counselors, and, this is appropriate, isn't it? And school social workers. Draft 1 on second and final reading.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor as stated. Seeing no discussion, there's a motion on the floor that the board approves R277-306, draft 1 on second and final reading. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes with Member Klein opposed.
Item 14.9, which would be, I'm sorry, 14.8, which would be R277-490, Beverly Taylor Sorensen. The motion is that the committee moves that the board approves R277-460, oh, no, that's not right. Sorry. The committee moves that the board continues only R277-490, Beverly Taylor Sorensen Elementary Arts Learning Program on second and final reading.
Thank you. There's a motion that the board continue R277-490 on second and final reading. Seeing no discussion, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Item 14.9, R277-709. The committee moves that the board continues and approves R277-709, Youth in Care, Draft 1 on second and final reading.
There's a motion that the board continue and approve R277-409, 709, draft 1 on second and final reading. My glasses. No wonder I'm having problems. Goodness. The board continue and approve R277-709, draft 1 on second and final reading. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes
And that
with
completes our work.
Member Klein opposed.